Jim and Kiilu.
All right. Welcome to the next episode of Fireside Chat with Jim and Kiilu. Sitting in for Jim Mueller is David Hirschberg. David is a fellow out of South Florida. And today's guest is Kathryn Murphy, who is a fellow out of Plano, Texas. Kathryn, thank you so much for sitting down with David and myself. And I know you've had a busy schedule.
I have. I know you guys have too. We all do the same job.
All right. So first, I know that Kathryn is the interviewee, but David, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, we're all guests.
Well, first of all, do not adjust your cameras. I'm not Jim Mueller. I won't even be able to fill those shoes. I'm, I guess, a relatively new fellow. I got in about a year ago into the academy out of South Florida. I found out in September that I was accepted, went in November knowing absolutely no one. And day one, I met Kiilu and soon learned about who Kiilu is and and was very fortunate to bond with him and met a lot of other fellows, including Jim. And at that time, I had my own law firm, was on my own. And then a couple months ago, merged with Peter Gladstone, who's a fellow, and his partner, Jeff Weissman. And we now have a firm together in Boca Raton. So that's me, and that's who I am. A father of two, married, have a beautiful wife. I definitely married up. And two boys.
Yeah, I'm going to say you did outkick your coverage. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm just going to let you know that.
I definitely did. So that's a little bit about myself. But as Kiilu said, I mean, this is really about Kathryn and not so much me. But I appreciate getting to introduce myself.
No, let's make it about you too, David. How old are your kids?
They're 8 and 10 years old. So my oldest is in 5th, my youngest is in 3rd grade. And so I'm like in the thick of it right now.
So fun. Are they girls or boys?
They're 2 boys. Yeah.
Okay.
They're like best friends. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And Kathryn, why don't you tell the fellows? I guess I'm saying this for maybe the 1 or 2 fellows who don't know who you are. Why don't you just give a little explanation of who you are and what you're about?
Well, let's see. Okay, so I joined the academy, or I was invited to be in the academy, I think 2002. And let's see, what else do you want to know? So I'm from Dallas and started practicing law in 1989 and went to law school in Dallas at SMU, Southern Methodist University.
Wait, you're from Dallas? I thought you were from like somewhere up north originally or something like that.
Oh, I live in Dallas right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I grew up in Billings, Montana. And then when I was in high school, my family moved to Bismarck, North Dakota. So all of my family's in North Dakota. So when I go home, it's to North Dakota.
Okay.
Wow.
So, but I've lived in Texas since 1983. And so that's a long time to be in a place.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
So,
but I can flip into a North Dakotan accent pretty easily when I get around myself.
I actually met you before I met you. You want to know why?
Why?
So when I first met Kiilu and we were chatting and we were at the bar and we were talking about being a new fellow and new things, he was very braggy in a very positive way about you and telling me like a story about how he was, I think, yeah.
This is.
I want. By the way, we did not rehearse this. I'm putting it on the spot.
So this is.
Hear this story about, but he was just bragging about you and dropping you.
That is so nice. Thank you, Kiilu.
Well, no, it's like I say thank you because it was my first meeting in November. And I met you. I can't remember if it was like a morning committee meeting or the morning CLE, but you came over, you introduced yourself. We talked for a little bit and you're like, oh, so there's this happy hour come, you gotta come, you gotta come. And I'm like, okay. So I go back, after everything, and I go talk to Tara. And I was like, so this fellow just invited me to a happy hour. And she's like, well, who's it with? I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, where is it? She's like, at this bar over here. And this is when we were at that, it wasn't the Lowe's. It was the other bar that was like downstairs, the other hotel. And so it was just, so it was the one that had the walk-through bar. And of course, me, I get there a little bit early, and then I'm like, well, I don't really see anybody. And then all of a sudden I see like all these fellows come in, and what I soon realized is that it is the Texas Fellow Happy Hour. And I'm like, oh, because I'm from Arizona, and I'm like, I'm not quite sure I'm supposed to be here. And so I'm talking to someone, and I was like, they're like, well, who are you? I was like, a new fellow. Da, da, da. Well, how'd you hear about this? I was like, well, Kathryn Murphy invited me. And they're like, oh, okay, come on in. Da, da, da. And so it's like, I name dropped Kathryn Murphy's name. And then next thing you know, I was just automatically accepted into the Texas Fellow, happy hour, which I will tell you, I have been invited to and gone to ever since that time. It's like they literally reach out to me. It's like, Kiilu, this is the time of our happy hour, because at that first meeting, I name dropped Kathryn. And so that is the coolest
I'm
thing.
hopeful I'm getting on the list.
Oh, no, you can't,
Come on.
No, I can't. Darn it.
Only one person gets to crash that. Well, unless Kathryn says you're in, then all of a sudden, I guess automatically you're in.
I remember that so well, but I think also, when you meet someone, if you connect, like I know within seconds if I'm going to connect with somebody. And I think I knew just that moment that, we are soul brother and sister. We connected immediately.
Yeah. And that has been like, I can say like right now I am chair of the CLE committee, and I know if I ask Kathryn to do something, she's like, oh, absolutely, I'll do it. And so it's just been awesome. And even with what we have, the scholars committee, I approached Kathryn and I was like, hey, is this something you might be interested in? And da da da. And she said, absolutely. And you just finished with your, first scholar of the summer. How did that go?
Oh my gosh, so amazing. So my scholar, so does everybody know that's going to be watching this what the scholars program is?
Well, why don't you go ahead and explain what the scholars program is?
Okay. So the scholars program came about, the brainchild of Kiilu and Gary Rosen 2 years ago. And it's a program, I know I'm not saying this very well, Kiilu, but it's a program where we try and build up a pipeline of really amazing attorneys that could come from all diverse backgrounds, cultures, etc. And so it started out by going to certain law schools across the US. And how many scholars did you guys have last year? So last year was
3.
3. Okay. So in this year, there were like 20?
There were 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I had one.
Who applies as a scholar? Is it a law student or is it a lawyer?
Okay, so the scholars program is trying to expand to bring more diverse individuals into the practice of family law. And so what you have is you can't mandate that states do anything, but what you can do is have fellows who are willing to bring in minority law students to act as their law clerk. So what you have to do is recruit the individual fellows to want to be a mentor, and then they then go out, and we have a program for you, and we tell you what to do and how to, the best way to do it. Then you go into the law schools and find minority law students who are, and then hire them as law clerks.
That's great.
So that's the nuts and bolts of the program itself. And so last year was like our pilot program. And so we had 3 scholars. And then this year we had 20 scholars. And so within the scholars program, what you do is you'll have, we put a syllabus together. I put a syllabus together for the individual fellow to go over with their scholar. And the syllabus is, it's literally it's bounds of advocacy. Then you have like law practice management. Then you have, you know, how to manage your law school debt. Then you have client communication, and I put together a sheet that walks you through it. And then you click on that, there's articles. So it's not like the fellow has to do any homework or any research or anything else. It's literally point and click, and they get to talk to their scholar about that. So then you have that. It's an 8-week program. And so each week, the fellow goes over those things with the scholar. And then probably we had 5 Zooms that we put together, where the first one was just XCOM kind of introducing themselves to the scholars. And then after that, we had, I think our first one was Dr. Saul. No, first one was Jay Fishman, who gave us an introduction to business valuations. The next one was Dr. Saul Rappaport, who gave us an introduction to custody valuations. Then we had Brian Vertz, who did introduction to divorce taxation. And then we ended with Matt Dodd. Oh, wait, then we went with Judge Bruce Cohen, who did introduction to professionalism. Then we ended with Matt Dodd, who did introductions to cross-examinations. And so that is the scholars program. Once you graduate from the program, you'll be able to put it on your resume that you're a graduate of the scholars program, plus you get a certificate. And Kathryn is one of the individuals I kind of like pleaded and roped in and said, please do this. Are you willing to do this? And she graciously said yes. And her scholar was fantastic. It was one of those things where you could tell it was Kathryn's scholar because she was just dressed to the nines whenever you saw her.
Yeah, we really clicked. Her name's Lindsay George Petty. If you're watching this, Lindsay, she was just an absolute doll. And, you know, sometimes it's hard. I find it really hard to mentor sometimes, just taking the time. So the way I usually mentor is just bring people with me. So wherever I went, she went. But we also have a very large firm, and all we do is family law. And so she got to see different styles as well. So she came to court with me. She went to court with some of my partners. She sat in on depositions. She sat in on some lengthy mediations. She sat in with new clients, like when we would interview new clients. We're a pretty social firm, so we always have parties for something. So, you know, she sat in on parties or joined us at parties with our other interns. But anyway, I'm hopeful that she had a really great experience because I loved her.
Oh,
And I'm
that's nice.
so proud of her. I remember once we went to court and there were 4 interns. So the judge had 2 interns and I had an intern and the opposing counsel had an intern. Mine, by far, so professional, so poised. And then we had like a judges conference, which is the judge and the lawyers and the interns. And she was just amazing. So I just love her personality. And we always say that we can teach the law, you know, teach somebody, you know, what to do in the courtroom and trial advocacy skills, but you can't teach common sense and you can't teach a personality or charisma.
We say the same thing, that
Yeah.
that there's intangibles that you can't teach.
Right.
Work ethic, you can't teach passion, you can't teach someone caring, you know, caring about their work product or caring about I agree with you, there's certain things that you just can't teach. Either person has it or they don't.
Can teach
Yeah.
you how to be a lawyer, but I
law.
can't teach you how to be a litigator.
Right.
Yeah.
And she showed up every day with a suit, ready to go for whatever may happen.
Was she a lawyer or a law student?
A law student.
A first-year law student.
So now you gotta track her career.
Here's her picture. Can you see that?
I can. Yeah. What a beautiful painting behind her, by the
It
way.
was so cute.
So which law school is she at?
University of Houston.
And I have an interesting thing. So after doing this for a summer, do you think she was more or less passionate about family law?
You know, that's a great question because that was asked, I think, of all of them. And like we've had interns that, you know, have immediately said, okay, this is not right for me. But she's considering it. So I would definitely consider hiring her.
What a great opportunity.
But I want her to have other experiences too. I mean, it's one experience, but you know, we bonded so much. Like, you know, in the category of when you meet someone, you just kind of know when you click. And she was the first scholar I met, interviewed. Within 10 seconds, I knew I really liked her. And so at the end of the internship, we had a party for her and two of our other interns. And she, these were our high school interns. But anyway, she was just telling everybody about her experience and how when she first met me, I wasn't even like drilling her on hard questions. It was like, okay, yeah, we start here. And, it's like I was hired immediately. But literally within 60 seconds, I knew that she would be hired. So,
That's amazing.
yeah, and we just
And kudos to you. I mean, I've heard of it before. I saw the recognition that you got at at the gala, but kudos to you, Kiilu, for this program. And you really, obviously kudos to you, Kathryn, because you need people like you to implement it. But
kudos to Gary and Rebecca, because couldn't have done that program with, and it's Gary and I have been like really working on this program, and we're really excited that one, that it's here. But what we were really excited about, just like Kathryn, if you remember, like one of the first meetings, I was like, oh my gosh, because when you looked on the screen, it was just so diverse. I couldn't stop smiling.
Oh, me too. And they were all so cute. Oh my gosh. And the first Drinks and Diversity meeting that we had, remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so Carrie Mogerman led the discussion about a book that everybody read, or I mean, you can come even if you don't read it, but it was the Third Reconstruction. And so I bought one for Lindsay, and I think everybody bought one for their scholar, and they were all there and they were called on it and they loved it.
Oh,
I mean,
and they rocked it too.
They rocked it. I mean, they were just so cute. I was so proud. I really was. That was one of my most memorable Drinks and Diversity. Not only did Carrie do an amazing job, but it was just really, really fun having all of those law students.
And kudos to you, Kathryn, because Drinks and Diversity is you're in charge of that, and you've done an outstanding job of all the programs that you've put together. And it's just been, from that first one to, I missed the last one and I'm kicking myself for it because it's a time difference, but it's just been awesome. And, and that's the big thing is like, even with the scholars, it's like, you can't do this without fellows who are willing to do this kind of stuff. And I applaud you because you've stepped up and hit it out of the park with everything that you've done.
So we've done Drinks and Diversity. This is the end of our third year, and I have got to say it has been one of my most rewarding volunteer activities ever. I have just enjoyed it so much, learned about myself, learned about others, other cultures. We just really have an amazing committee. And so super dynamic committee. So really it's not me. I just, kind of herd everybody together at the right time.
It's you. Trust me. I've been a part of the committee. It's you, Kathryn.
Well, no, I mean, we have a very dynamic committee and everybody steps up to the plate. Great ideas. We've had some unbelievable programs, just about cultures, racial bias, just programs really designed to, for us all to learn and have very safe conversations about difficult topics. And it's just really been fun. Don't you think, Kiilu?
It's been awesome. I think I said it like, almost 2 years ago. At one point, I was just tired, and Drinks and Diversity helped reinvigorate myself with everything that was going on. So I was very excited, and it was awesome. But before we go any further, so this is, our fireside chat. So at this point, we usually go around and say, okay, David, what's your drink of choice for today?
Drink of choice today is tequila 1942, just straight on with one big rock.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Mueller usually does a ranch water, so I guess it's the tequila ranch water with only tequila. Kathryn, what's your drink?
That's it. Yeah.
I have a glass of Conundrum. Wine, really great wine. It's a
Yeah,
blend,
it's good.
white blend.
All right.
And what about you, Kiilu?
I am drinking vodka with San Pellegrino, like lemon. So
Let me guess, Tito's.
no, this is actually usually I do Tito's, but the Tito's is at the office. Thank you very much. The wife actually got it's like Kirkland, Costco.
Which I heard, by the way, is very good, very good.
It's very good. You know, I usually drink Tito's, but I keep the Tito's at the office, and so this was the Kirkland, and I was like, I'll do that.
Excellent.
And you, as you see, it's not Red Bull, which is
Well, I was like, if you want to go to sleep, don't have the Red Bull.
Yeah, which is shocking for me because that seems to be my drink of choice. So, Kathryn, if you could go back and give your younger self any advice, what would you say?
Wow. Oh gosh.
That's a great question.
That's a really good question. My younger self advice. I would say, God, there's so many pieces of advice I could give myself. Oh, what does everybody want to hear about? So, well, today I had a dialogue with one of my partners about making better choices as to which clients I'm going to take on. And it's always been very difficult for me to say no. And I always think, oh, I can help them. And yes, they're, not an A+ client, but I think I can bring them to a higher level. Sometimes I can, but, sometimes, as we know, they just, it's a little bit more challenging and it takes a lot out of me. So I would say just put myself number one on the to-do list and just really be more balanced. And I actually said that to myself about 10 years ago. And I really started to implement my passions. And so I love working, absolutely love being a lawyer. I love volunteering and doing all of that. But I hear so many people say, well, I'm going to wait till I retire until I take up this hobby or do this or that. And so I decided after my kids went off to college that I was going to execute on my passions. And I did. And I have kept
Your passions.
my passions.
So, I was going to say ballroom dancing. So let's talk about that one, right?
Yes. I started competitive ballroom dancing about 7 or 8 years ago.
We need a Dancing with the Stars AML version. Everyone would fight to dance with Kathryn.
Well, you have to have a pro and then, the amateur.
You're the pro. You're the pro. You're going to have an amateur.
Pro.
7, 8 years of ballroom dancing. Come on.
So I dance in the pro-am category, the really old person category. Actually, there's old.
I tell you, the pro-am.
Yeah.
And is it
That'd be fun.
is it Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights?
Thursday nights.
Thursday
for
nights.
Sure. I have lessons Thursday nights for sure, but now I threw in Monday nights and Saturdays. So
have you ever had to drop ballroom dancing as a reason to get out of a hearing or something work related?
no, that doesn't work.
I wasn't sure.
But I have chronic shin splints because of it. So
what else is like you, because it was interesting, you started the answer with the advice with talking about choosing which clients, which I think all of us struggle with, but then you transitioned into work-life balance. And so, you said ballroom dancing, which Kiilu kind of, I guess knowing you, teed up. Is there what else have you gotten into as your passions after your kids have gone off to college?
So I do yoga and I try and regularly do that. And then I also study the German language. So I started.
Why German?
So when I was in high school, I was an exchange student to Germany. And I just really, thought, hey, this is really fun to be able to master another language, which is kind of what ballroom dancing is too. It's just mastering something different. And so I picked it back up, like after not speaking any German at all for about 30 years, I picked it back up. And my niece, she's 28 now, but she lived in Germany for a year. And so I went over there with her and my German teacher, and we just had a total immersion. And then my daughter, she minored in German. So
Did you enjoy your time in Germany?
loved my time in Germany.
I'm asking because my grandfather was born and raised in Germany.
And I was going to ask you that because your last name is definitely German.
It means deer mountain. That's the translation.
Mhm.
So my father was actually born in Germany in a relocation camp before they came over to the United States. So that my roots are definitely in Germany.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of your daughter, though, how is your newest associate or one of your newest associates?
Yeah, so she's a 2-year lawyer now. She's doing very, very well. Her office is right next to me. And she, oh my God, I'm just so proud of her. She's the best writer, and she brings to the table a lot of common sense. But she is smarter than the average bear. I'm not just saying this because she's my daughter, but she has blown me away with her common sense and challenges me all the time. But she's still a little girl at heart. So she offices next to me, and then she'll come past. She could be walking in the door from being in court or whatever, and then she'll peek in my office and say, "Do you have to go potty?"
Do you ever have that blurred line between, daughter, associate, like talk to her like an associate, not a daughter, or vice versa?
Oh, she's really sweet. I talk to her like a daughter, and like an associate too. And she's married, so we have different last names, which I think is better. It's easier for me to hand off cases to her and bring her in cases, but she's pregnant now. And so she's due in December. And
Is that your first grandchild?
this is the 5th.
The 5th. All right. So
but the first from my children. So I have 2 stepchildren, 2 sons-in-laws, and a daughter-in-law. And I have 4 grandchildren from my stepdaughter.
And she got married last year, though, right?
Got married last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so,
no reason to. Hey, I'm just thinking, at least we don't have to pull out a shotgun or anything like that.
so whenever she comes to when I go into her office many, many times a day and just rub her belly. You can't do that with your stepdaughter like you can your own daughter.
Right.
Otherwise they'll think you're a little weird. But with her, I just get to rub the belly all around.
I was gonna say you can't do that with associates either. So
no. No.
So you were talking about the fact that, with your intern, your scholar, you didn't really have any like hard-hitting questions. But if you were interviewing yourself, what question would you want to be asked?
If I was interviewing myself at that age?
No, at any age. If you were interviewing yourself, what's the one question that you'd want to answer?
Let's see what I would want to answer. I would say, what trait of yours do you bring to the table that, is just a trait that helps you in work, in life, in family, in friendships?
Interesting.
Oh, so you'd ask like a deep question. Okay.
Yeah.
Because when I interview, I have like this standard, at some point, what's your greatest strength? And then I follow that up with what's your greatest, what do you think is your biggest weakness? And I like to ask that, but you went deep.
Yeah, really deep. That's a good one. What's your greatest strength?
See, I asked, what's your 3 strengths? And then I immediately thought, and everyone can rattle that off.
Come up with 3.
Yeah. And then, people can come up with 3 strengths in a heartbeat. But then when you ask them what their 3 weaknesses are, they're like, duh, they've like never thought of it before. And, you know, and then I equate it to, hey, when you take on a case, you not only got to look at your strengths, you got to look at your weaknesses. But with me, I look at it and say, I've got to surround myself with individuals. If I know my 3 weaknesses, I can't bring in people that their weaknesses are also my weaknesses, because then we'll never succeed. But yeah, it's the same philosophy. But yeah, I don't think I'd ever get in as deep as Kathryn. But hey, that's why I love Kathryn. You know,
Yeah,
she makes us better.
yeah, those I could whip off pretty quickly, strengths and weaknesses.
So let me ask you, in terms of, you talked about, it seems like you're finding the work-life balance, you know, that has made you happy. What do you most enjoy about the academy?
The academy?
Yeah.
So I enjoy the friendships. I enjoy, you know, just really sharing with people that get it, you know, get what we do, because, you know, we all have friends outside of work, but, you know, our friends really don't, you know what we do and what we have to go through. And I think, you know, our academy friends do. And, you know, they're all just at a really high level. So so friendships, I would say.
So I would follow it up with, like, who is your favorite fellow? But then after our last trip to Bahamas, I've realized I've fallen off that tree. And so I'm not going to ask that question, because, you know,
What?
I know I'm no longer
I want to
at the
know who
top
your
of the
favorite
list.
fellow. I
I'm
want
no
to know who
longer at
your
the top
favorite
of the
fellow is.
list anymore.
Who's
I want
my
to know who
favorite?
your favorite fellow is.
CM.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were thinking of that.
I was like, I was so devastated. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been replaced. Oh no.
Aw.
What is your proudest accomplishment? If
Oh
you
my gosh, my proudest accomplishment is my children. For sure.
Great answer. How many children do you have?
So I have 2 of my own. So the youngest is 27. She works at my office, and her brother is 28, and they both graduated from college together at University of Oklahoma. And he is an outdoor firefighter in Montana. And he is just such an amazing human.
That's
Very,
fun.
very, very soulful. He jumps out of airplanes for a living. So he's on the smoke jumping crew.
Oh wow.
And, you know, for 3 years, he was on the hot shot crew where they fight the fires just going in. But now he and his team, they jump out of the airplane and then they land next to the fire and they wait till the rest of the crew gets there. So he's just really a special kid. You know, both of my kids, they're very close, but they're very, very different. So my son is very earthy, you know, extremely down to earth, super compassionate with all people. I mean, you will meet him and I mean, he will genuinely care. He's not materialistic at all. You know, just not turned on by that, you know, and just is not impressed by that. But he's so rich in spirit and personality that, you know, he's just a great kid. So I'm very, very proud.
I know they're close in age, but they're different genders. So were they always like my sister and I are very close, but we were not like we were like we fought like cats and dogs until I started to get to about a teenage years, and she became like my hero, and we've been like best friends since. So I'm wondering with you, with the different, you know, with the boy girl, were they
Yeah.
like that, or
Yes.
were they always were?
No, they were like you and your sister. I mean, they fought, but you know, they still played together when they didn't have anybody else to play with. But in high school, they started becoming very close.
That's nice. That's really nice.
You know, and then
And Kiilu, you have kids as well, correct?
I got kids, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I don't think I've ever met your son. Have I?
My son?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He's always been off firefighting.
You got to go to Montana.
Actually,
and
Kiilu,
chase down
you know
the-
what? I used to bring him and Allie to all the academy meetings, but it was, I think, before you, because then when they started getting in high school and college, they couldn't come.
Yeah, but I've met Allie like a bunch of times.
Yeah, you've met her a bunch of times. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, she makes it a point.
Okay.
I mean, she invites herself.
Yeah, I was like, I was trying to think. I remember having, good God, we had like a forever conversation. I think it was in Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
Mhm.
So first, at this point, we've got to pause to give like Jim Mueller his little space. And so he's always the one to kind of ask, and so I'll try to, bring in my inner Mueller. So, Kathryn, are you a book person? Do you read? Yeah, do you read a lot of books?
You a book? Are you a Netflix person? What are you?
Yeah.
And I'm not doing my Jim Mueller.
I don't have any tattoos, so it's really hard for me, but I got the bald head, but
Me too.
so that's
I am not a book person.
okay.
The last book I read was
Third
the
Reconstruction.
last book I read was The Firm in 1990s or whenever that was. And then the last book I read that was not the last fiction book. I mean, I've read lots of nonfiction, but the last fiction book was The Notebook. And that was probably 15 years ago also.
So do you do audio then?
So if it's not like a dance night, and let's say you're coming home from work, what's Kathryn Murphy doing?
So my husband and I have dinner. So my husband makes dinner every night. He actually makes me breakfast every morning.
Damn, Mike, stop it. You're making us look bad.
He is the most.
So can you edit that out? For all?
Mary, pause that, cut it.
I sometimes feel bad bragging on him because I recognize how special he is. He is, oh my God, he makes me breakfast every morning, like brings it in while I'm getting ready, the full on thing. And it's the same thing that I like every day.
What is it?
It's oatmeal with these granola nuts on the top, a big bowl of oatmeal, granola nuts, and a banana all smunched together. And an orange juice and an iced tea, green tea.
But
So every day.
But here's the thing, they're just two great people. Like when you know them, it is insane where it's so awesome to have conversations with them. But we had dinner in Florida and it was just, they are just two genuinely nice
thank you.
people. I enjoy the time that I get to spend with them. And I look forward to being able to get to see both of you guys.
Thank you.
At first
I was about you.
Wow. At first I was like, I don't know. I was like, she is awesome. And then I realized he's awesome too. So then I didn't feel bad for being in love with both of you guys. I was like, I love them both.
Yeah, he's really nice. And he genuinely, like today, he came and picked my car up at work and took it to the car wash. I mean, I feel bad even saying this, and put gas in it. And
Mary, edit that
he does
part
all the
out,
grocery
too.
shopping.
Okay, so you come home to this Michelin star dinner that's been cooked by your husband. Okay, and what's the Kathryn Murphy night? Like, how are you unwinding?
So we watch America's Got Talent, American Idol. Do you guys like those shows?
I used to. I used to watch them, but yeah, I like them. Yeah.
I just love America's Got Talent. It's just, I smile every single
Do you like it for the talent or do you like it for the judges or both?
The talent and just normal people just getting up there and being amazing. And I just find myself, so I have a Peloton and so I'll be sitting, so I watch TV just to kind of take me off the task. And the whole time, like my husband will say, okay, you have not stopped smiling since you got on there. And it's just because I appreciate talent so much. I am not a talented person. I can't sing. I wish so much I could sing, but I really have a genuine, I'm so impressed with somebody that can sing and that has, really great talent.
Kiilu, am I allowed a little bit of leeway?
Absolutely.
Who's your go-to Peloton instructor?
I like the people that speak German.
Oh, that Eric, whatever his name,
Yeah.
you like it in German. You like to do
Yeah,
that.
I go to Eric or the girl, I can't remember her name right now, the girl. But if I'm watching TV while I'm doing it, then I'll just put Cody on and take off the sound.
Got it.
Yeah. Do you do
But
that?
everybody has Pelotons.
I do. I have, my wife and I are big Peloton people. In fact,
Yeah.
we did first time we did. So my kids were in sleepaway camp up in Pennsylvania, but we went to New York and we went after visiting them and we went and did live classes at Peloton Studio. So we have the bike and we have the Peloton tread. So we have,
Wow.
Love it.
So
yeah.
you've got the clothes hanger and then also the hat hanger.
Yeah. So yeah,
But what are your other hobbies, David?
I mean, exercise is like, so I would say that exercise is a hobby and also I think a stress reliever.
Yeah, same.
Um, I think like sports, watching sports and things like that is a stress reliever. And I guess maybe a little bit of a foodie, going out on dates with my wife, going out with other couples. I think those would be my hobbies.
Oh, so I would have thought it would have been like, karaoke to, who is it? Big Papa?
Yeah, now you're
Biggie,
embarrassing me.
Biggie
Yeah.
Smalls, Biggie Smalls.
Yeah,
That's what I would have thought. I would have been like,
Kimber was a little bit shocked and impressed at the same time. So
I was absolutely shocked and impressed at the same time. That was
he may have been on a party bus and they may have been playing music and I may have known every single word to the rap song that was on.
he may have gotten more street cred from that one ride than any one person could get.
Yes. So.
I love that. Are you a good singer, David?
Oh no, my voice is terrible. So, but I can rap. That I can do. I can do that. Great. So the talent, the musical talent in this house is my wife. And my wife could also, if she was on Name That Tune and it was any 80s or 90s song, like if I had to bet my life, like on a name that tune in 5 notes, your life depends on it, it's going to be an 80s song, I'm taking my wife as the person who's getting me out of it. So
that is another one of my shows. I love that show and I am so good at Name That Tune. Like I can nail the 70s. I could do it probably in 1 note just from the little, description they give of it.
Yeah. Awesome. I get what you're saying, and I think that's. Do you have like an Amazon like one of those Echoes or anything like that in the house? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So sometimes my wife and I will just say, "Hey, Amazon, 80s songs," and 80s mix, and each song that comes on, my wife within like the first 2 seconds of the song knows what it is. She doesn't know the playlist, doesn't know anything. It's randomly mixing. And I'm just sitting there laughing. And if you ever want to have that, if you ever want to do that with your husband, I find it fun. I find it
we do that. We do that too.
We do that. I was going to say, each cable station has that music mix.
Yeah.
And so
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
We don't even like stop on the song. We just change the channels and then you've got like whatever to like just who can get it first. And then what I do with the Sirius, I'll go from station 2 all the way to station 17. I won't even listen to the song. I'll just like turn it to the song, guess who it is, turn to the next song, guess who it. I might love the song, but
I did that too.
I'm going all the way through.
You all are talented. That's a talent.
That
That
is so
really is.
funny that we all three of us like that game. I do that too. And I went to high school in the 70s, so I listened to 70s on 7 all the time. But we are really big. I am really big into games for Christmas. And so everybody comes over and I always have prizes. They're really good prizes. So everybody tries pretty hard. And so last year we did Name That Tune and I had it all queued up. And I thought every genre, you know, everybody's age, I thought we could, oh my God, they were horrible. I mean, like,
You spent all that time getting ready and then you're just disappointed in the talent.
Like my husband likes ZZ Top, and you know, I had ZZ Top and his other Southern rock singers and songs in there, and I'm like, oh my God, like it was like 50 notes before they would get it.
You know, another big thing we used to do a lot is the Kevin Bacon. Like we would, have you guys ever played? Maybe I'm just me, but we used to sit around and see how many ways that we could do Kevin Bacon and link somebody. Like,
of course,
the closest way, not within 6 degrees, but we would throw out somebody, and then we literally got books, like, so we could see if they appeared in any sort of movie, and I'd read those books just so I could try to like really hone it down from 6 to 3. But games are, I don't. But
you
people
also
play
are a
games like we
competitive
used to.
person. You're a competitive person, so
Not me. No. Not at all.
Are you a competitive person, Kathryn?
Extremely. That's why I'm in activities that, you know, are competitive. I mean, it's like competitive ballroom dancing. I mean, you would think at, you know, at my age range that, you know, it would be sleeper. No, these people are in it to win it. They've got time, they've got money, and they fly around, they compete all the time. I don't have the time to do all that, but I mean, they compete, and all the competitions are across the US. Like we don't have any in Texas, any good ones. And oh my gosh, I mean, it's a very competitive thing. So yeah.
I have a question. You could go to any concert right now. You can design and you can name your concert. I want your favorite overall, could be dead or alive, band that's together or not right now, or not. So I want that. And if they're not together, I want to know what band or artist that exists today you'd want to see.
Oh, that's good. Do you want to go first, Kiilu?
I think the question was to you.
Question was for you, Kathryn.
I'm not the interviewee. I am the interviewer.
That's correct. I've already interviewed Kiilu.
Okay, I'll go first. So
You can't go first if the question was directed at you.
I would hear what you guys say too.
You can go first and last at the same time.
So we're huge concert people. And you know, whatever, I mean, I just raised my kid like in high school. If we, you know, didn't have tickets somewhere as a Friday night, we said, hey, there's this concert, let's try and get tickets. I mean, we'll try and get tickets and go to the concert. So I would say I have been to Elton John probably 20 times. And I love Elton John's voice. I love his music. So I would probably say Elton John. But Queen, I love Queen.
That's number one on my list. My list would be
Queen.
Going to Queen with my kids. I don't know how it happened. I think I know. My kids are only 8 and 10, but they are obsessed with Queen. And
Yeah.
so I think of the quote artists that aren't alive. I think that Queen would be right up there.
I love them. And now with Adam Lambert in with them, I think he is a phenomenal singer. He came from American Idol.
Yeah, he was runner-up. He was runner-up that year.
Yeah.
Which he should have been, because he just thought he was he thought he had it all the way to the
Yeah.
end. And his face when he lost was just, it
I
wasn't like
forget,
priceless.
the guy's name that beat him. I'm seeing his face,
It's
but
Chris.
what?
Chris.
Yeah, and he overtook that season when he did that version of Kanye West's song.
Yes.
And he did that, and I think he overtook that season. I remember that season. Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
Kathryn, here's my question for you. I got two questions.
Okay.
So, first question would be, if you could have dinner, 4 people at the dinner, dead or alive, you're one of them, who fills the other spots?
That is so tough. Well, I would love to have dinner with you two.
Yes,
So you
I
two.
appreciate that, but we've had dinner before, so.
Oh man.
Have you never thought about that question?
No,
Yeah, I'm just wondering. You've never thought about that question?
no, who's yours?
Well,
No, I
hold
wanna
on,
know
but
yours. I wanna know
we can't
yours.
forget where, shout out to Dawn, who,
Yes.
when she was asked that question, she's like, well, they'd have to be all women. And then she said Thurgood Marshall. And then Mueller and I were like, what? It was the funniest. I was like, well, first of all, he's not a woman, but shout out to Dawn and her sweet potatoes. But Kathryn, who are the 3 people?
I probably should be more like soulful and rich and say somebody like Ruth Bader Ginsburg or something like that. But I don't know. I'm just really impressed by entertainers and, just really dynamic people. Gosh, who would they be? If you wouldn't have asked, I would know. There's so many people that I just think are very dynamic and that I would love to get to know better.
Hirschberg, who are your 3?
I've never thought about. I mean, Michael Jordan would be
Oh yeah.
one of them. This is weird. I don't know if I would have him at the table with the other 3.
The other
But
3, there's only other 2. It's you.
I mean, myself, I would do anything to have dinner with my grandfather one more time. My papa.
Oh,
Okay.
The last place he went before he died, the literal last public place he went was my swearing in as a lawyer. And I think I would love to, all these years, 20 years, whatever it is later, to have dinner with him, to see what what I've become, my family and all of that, right? Never got a chance to meet my wife. So, I would bump anybody off the list, I think, to have dinner with him.
See, I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah, and so I know Michael Jordan and my grandfather. I've never thought. I've a great question. I've never thought about that. I'd have to give some thought to the third, but those are the immediate first 2 that come to mind. What about you, Kiilu?
It's funny because Mueller and I have been doing this for a very long time. In our last Fireside Chat, we actually interviewed ourselves. And as much as we've done this, I've never thought about the answers. I've critiqued answers, but I've never thought about my own answer. So as you were just saying that, I was even thinking beforehand, I don't even really care about the other 3. I literally just want to have dinner with my mom. That's it. It could just be me and her. And it's hard because if I wanted to be me and her, I'd have to actually make it a table of 5 because she died when K2 was 1. She's never met Donovan and she's never met Michaela. So I might excuse myself from the table, because I will tell you right now, everyone can say that they have the greatest, probably, grandmother ever, but she was, for that limited time, she would have, and if she would have been able to live longer, she would have been the best grandmother ever. So I'd excuse myself from the table and actually let my 3 kids have dinner with my mom.
It's a really beautiful thing. That's really beautiful.
So
I want to come back to Kat. I mean, I get it. I understand it. I don't understand it in a certain manner. Kathryn, what about you?
Who would I have dinner with? Well, uh, let's see. There's so many people that I would love to have dinner with. Well, I could say my dad for sure. My dad passed away at the age of 92, 15 years ago. So he was born in 1919. And he went through World War II. He's just a very interesting person. He's got a lot of history and a lot of stories to tell. So it would definitely be my dad. Let's see, who else? I don't know. I really enjoy just like my sisters. My sisters are in North Dakota. My youngest sister is turning 60. And we are in 2 weeks. My other sister and I are taking her to New York for her 60th. So I'm really looking forward to having lots of dinners with them.
Well, that doesn't make any sense how you can say your younger sister's turning 60 when you're only like, 45 or something like that. But anyway.
The baby is turning 60.
Amazing.
So
if you did not go the route that we went, and you said you like entertainers, that's where you're correct. What entertainer, what famous person, dead or alive, would have to be at your table? Who are you? Like we all are. Like mine, right out my mouth was Michael Jordan. So,
yeah.
who would be that entertainer or that person that you would love to have dinner with?
It's so tough. There's so many. Like
There's got to be one. Come on, right
I-
now. Answer the question. One person.
Kiilu, what's yours? Because you
Bo
got
Jackson.
it right now.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. All
That's
right.
it.
Respect it.
Okay. I would have to say, I don't know, maybe it would be an entertainer.
We've
So
established that.
go with Carrie Underwood.
All right.
All right. There we go. Got you to commit.
Got you. Seriously.
All right. So we got a table with Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Carrie Underwood.
That's your three entertainers.
Mind sitting down with Freddie Mercury either.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So then my follow-up question was that you had talked about before, like you had the other ballroom dancers that just they fully committed. So if money was no object and you were set for life, what would you do all day?
Oh my gosh, I would be so busy all day. I have a lot of interest. First of all, I would probably work out twice. I'd do yoga and then I would dance later in the day. I would love to have lunch every day with my friends or Mike. I would love to just be with my grandchildren and take care of my new granddaughter. And Allie signed me up to be her nanny for 6 weeks because she's upset our maternity leave is only 6 weeks paid. And so she sent me a calendar invite for the other 6 weeks to be her nanny.
I love it.
That's awesome.
She thinks I adopted the policy. So I have a lot of energy and I love memories. I love scrapbooks. So my kids growing up, I've taken a lot of photos. They have a lot of scrapbooks and I would really organize the photos. I would make scrapbooks for people, all the special people in my life. So now I started doing it digitally. And so whenever my kids or somebody has a milestone event, I'll make them a scrapbook. It's very time consuming, but I love doing it. So I would do that. Yeah, I would just move and, if I wasn't practicing law, I think I'd still want to stay in the law. I really love our firm. We've got a lot of young lawyers. I love my partners and I would want to stay in the game just a little bit.
What about you, Hirschberg? What would you do?
Like it right now when I have young
if
kids,
money was no object and you were set for life, what would your day look like?
So, I have young kids. So, if my money, I was set for life. But it was now with like the young kids, um, you know, I think it's a struggle. I think it's a struggle because um, I have like my wife and I have an amazing partnership where we each have our defined roles in the marriage, and um, so I think in order to do my role, I have to sacrifice some time with the kids, and I think I have to sacrifice a little bit of time with my wife. And so with the kids now, you know, still in school, still that, I think I would, I think I would be, you know, I would be the one. I think I would be taking them to school. I would volunteer more, coach, you know, do
Just
that.
so you know, your wife and your kids are not going to see this, so you can give me the.
No, I mean, like, but you asked me like you asked me that question, which I think, you know, beyond that, um, you know, if I was older and, you know, didn't have, you know, the kids and all of that, um, I think that I would travel. I have a real passion for travel and seeing places and cultures. And, you know, I think that that's how I would do it. What about you, Kilu?
Oh, this is one question I've actually answered before, and I think Mueller asked me that, and I had the perfect day. It might have been like 3, 4 weeks ago, where I love video games, and my man cave is just outside of my putting green. So I literally came home from playing golf in the morning, took a nap, and then alternated from playing video games to going out on my putting green. I'd put on the putting green for a while. If I got too hot, I'd come back inside. I'd play video games. Once I got tired, a little bit bored of, you know, doing the video games, I went back onto the putting green. And then I would also, it's literally 88 feet by 55 feet. So it's also a chipping area as well. So I would chip it. So I would not leave my house. I would not leave my house. I would not do anything. As much as people think that I'm a really social person, what am I, Gen X? I love being by myself. I don't, I'm
What
by
video
myself.
game are you playing? Like, what is like, are you like a sports guy? Are you like a Fortnite, you know, a
I'm
Call
doing
of
Fortnite. I'm playing Fortnite. That's
Duty?
it.
I figured this out. See, I know we're interviewing Kathryn, but I have to ask you one thing. What's your
Yes.
favorite video game console of all time?
Galaga.
That's a game, Galaga,
Yeah.
but console. So like, you know,
Oh,
the Nintendo,
console. You're saying
yeah,
console.
console.
Oh my gosh.
Galaga's his favorite video game.
Console. Oh, that's a
Like,
hard one.
What I'm asking him is like Nintendo, is it
oh,
Sega Genesis? Is
I'm
it
actually gonna
PS1, PS2, Xbox?
so I Hirschberg, that's hard because back in the day we did not have the ability to play games from home to home. Like I can play against people who are not in my home, whereas back, you know, playing Sega or even my first PlayStation, we all had to be huddled in the same room, which there's there's not a lot you can say about with, like, you know, I don't know if you played Nintendo hockey, but the move and that's it, you know, boom boom, if you score every time. But with the PlayStation, those games, those were awesome. But I'm going to say the games that brought all of my friends together, which probably would have been a PlayStation, because we used to have to be in the same room. We would all play. There would be 8 of us. We would sit in and like winner, whatever else, and we'd make it into a drinking game. But nowadays, you can't beat a Xbox Tower and being able to play with your friend who is, you know, when K2 went away to school and he was happy, he was homesick. I could get on with him late at night and we could play Fortnite, and it would just be like he was upstairs and he
Right.
hadn't left. So consoles, the way they are now, I'm going to go with Xbox One Tower.
Cool.
it's a great way to stay connected. I play Scrabble with my mom. And my mom's in North Dakota.
The one that's on your phone.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
Scrabble Go. We grew up playing Scrabble as kids, and she just loves that game. She's not very technical, but when I told her we could play Scrabble from her iPad, I sent her an iPad. Oh, she really quickly learned how to do that. And we have 5 games going at the same time. And so all throughout the day, I'll play my words, and it's a great
Awesome.
See, I'm scarred from Scrabble because I used to play Scrabble as a kid, and I used to like leave those games crying because I
Really?
was like the dumbest one in my family, and it was like, oh,
That's because Kiilu only knew 3-letter words until he was 17.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. So, my dad was an attorney, my mom was an accountant, my sister graduated high school at 16. Then there's me. So, it was
You clearly underachieved in life, Kiilu.
holy cow, it was difficult.
Unbelievable. All the brains in that family.
Now it all adds up and makes sense.
So, Kathryn, what's your favorite family tradition?
I would say, so I'll just, what comes to mind first is we have Christmas traditions. And so on Christmas Eve, we all have matching pajamas. And this comes to mind first because I just ordered the matching pajamas for the girls today because Allie's baby, it's a girl, and they're going to name her Josephine and call her Josie. My middle name's Josephine, and so they're calling her Josie. And so Josie has some really cute light pink pajamas. And so Allie sent me a text the other day of what all of us should wear, our pink pajamas. So they all just came in. So when I flew in from work, I saw my husband open the box. I saw them sitting there. So that's one of our traditions. And then we just play games. We watch movies.
Is that your favorite holiday of the year is Christmas?
I think so. Yeah. It's also my birthday.
Christmas Day or Christmas Eve?
It's 28. So
28, right there.
it's a good time all throughout there. So I think that's probably our best tradition. And so at Christmas, the girls cook because the boys, we have some amazing cooks in our family, and it's all the boys. And the girls, like, we go to the lakes. Our best family tradition is going to the lake together. So
Which lake?
It's a lake in East Texas. And so we have a lake house there, and it's just been really incredible for our family. As our kids have grown up, we've really gotten to know our kids' friends. Because, you're together for a whole weekend together. We've taught so many kids how to wake surf, wakeboard, and now like this weekend, we're all going out, some are bringing friends. My husband and I are bringing friends, and, we kind of do this. We have the same tradition. So, whoever wants to be out on the boat during the day, and then at about 5 o'clock, we make a charcuterie board and have happy hour. And, if it's the grandkids, it's, all tailored to them too. And then we just sit there for a couple hours, just on the dock and just really enjoying each other. And then we are really great about birthdays. So everybody's birthday, everybody teases me that I really should start a balloon company because you cannot have a birthday without balloons. And so if it's anyone's birthday, I'm going to bring a bouquet, a dozen balloons, and show up at the restaurant, whatever, with balloons. And so we have a lot of lake birthdays with balloons. We go all out with the decoration.
That's in the family. Do you do it at the office? Do you do the balloon thing at the
Yes.
office?
Yes. When my daughter graduated from law school, when she passed the bar, I decorated her office with balloons, and it literally took me hours the night before decorating her office. I'll show you. It was really cute. I put a balloon on everything. I have a balloon blower upper.
And while you're looking, Mary, don't cut this out, but this is where I want an intro for the outfield, because I did not know that Kathryn's middle name was Josephine And now they're having, Allie's naming her kid Josephine with Josie. Come on. We got to have an intro with the outfield. And Kathryn, you got to know that every time I see you from now on, that is a song I'm going to be playing for you.
That sounds good. Okay, I'm getting closer to Allie's office. Oh, here it is.
What's your favorite holiday, Kiilu?
Oh my gosh.
While you're thinking, here's Allie's office.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's
yeah.
great.
And then that's her door.
How big of a smile did you have doing that?
Oh my gosh, I love celebrating people. Absolutely love it. And then a real quick other family tradition that we have. So every year at the lake for the 4th of July, it's just a huge ordeal. And so our family puts on a huge fireworks show. And my stepson is very techie, pyro techie. And so we all have our roles in the assembly line. Like I went from putting tape on the cords to splicing the things together. I graduated. And so my stepson's just the mastermind. So he's got controls for everything. So we just put on this amazing fireworks show. So that's kind of our holiday. And then there's it's called the Mule Parade or the golf cart parade for the 4th of July in the morning. And it started out like 15 years ago, just a few, you know what a mule is? Like Kawasaki mule. It's like a golf cart, it's open air. So we decorate these things. And the first year, my sister, who is a kindergarten teacher, she pretty much turned ours into a float. It was so incredible with balloons all over everything. So we decorate that. And then now this parade on the 4th of July has grown into this unbelievable extravaganza. And so now everybody brings like those bazooka water guns and just plaster, all the parade participants and those who are watching. It's just really a fun tradition.
Any family saying or any like family motto that you have?
That's a good one. I like that question.
I mean, even a blind acorn even a blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then, Kiilu. So, yeah.
I like that question.
All right.
Do you have one?
But that again,
Kiilu?
interviewer, interviewee.
I'm
interested in you guys.
You know what? I didn't ask that to answer it, but I do. I have from my family, not my, but like from my parents. I have one and I actually passed it down to my kids. So my parents used to say to me, like, whenever they used to say, remember who you are and where you come from.
Yeah.
And so I've said that to my kids, at different times. Stuck with me.
That's a good one.
So I know you or Kiilu, either one of you have families, like any sayings?
Kathryn?
I would say just let it go.
That's your family saying, let it go?
Just whatever happens.
Apparently she and Elsa were.
I was going to say, do you say like, let it go? Let it go? Or do you just say,
that's right. Frozen 3 with Kathryn Murphy.
Bad things happen. And just, is that the worst thing that's going to happen to you? No, just like yesterday, I was in a mediation and just as it was getting ready to start, I went into our little kitchen area to make hot iced tea. And I had the styrofoam cup with the hot water. It slipped out of my hands, dropped right on the counter and shot up the scalding water into my face.
Oof.
And like my chin, all in here. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. I mean, I don't think you can see it on here, but anyway, I fried my face yesterday and oh my God. And I just thought, okay, I got to let it go. And so just the whole day I acted like nothing happened, but my face is still killing me. It hurts so bad. But you got to let it go because is that the worst thing that's gonna happen to me? No.
And you got to get some cups better than styrofoam. Just letting
I
you know.
know.
Let that go too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got a big ass firm, Catherine. You guys would be able to
You
do
said it, not me.
a little bit more than some styrofoam cups.
That's
Yeah,
right.
We do have monogrammed cups, but I make the iced green tea and then I fill it with ice. So I make the hot green tea, fill it with ice. And so I love the styrofoam cups for ice.
You're gonna say it's not good for the environment, but hey, who am I? I'm not passing judgment. What is your favorite, say, like foreign food?
My favorite foreign food,
Yes.
I would say I love Thai food.
Okay.
What's your go-to Thai dish?
It's called tofu garden. And so it's tofu, it kind of tastes like chicken. And it's stirred up with brown rice and vegetables. And then my husband gets the same thing except chicken, but I eat the same thing every day for lunch. Do you guys have Original Chopped House where you're at?
Original chop. So do you get like which chop do you get?
I get the bowl of brown rice and chicken and this brown sauce, not teriyaki sauce, but something else with peanuts in it. And so that's what I eat every day for lunch. So I try and, shake it up at dinner.
Okay. Well, as much as I'd love for this conversation to go on, honestly, this has been really, really fun. I could do this forever. So this is what I'm proposing. Maybe we have a part 2 if you guys are willing to sit down and do this, because this has been awesome. However, Kathryn, and this is a question for you. You cannot throw it back to me or Hirschberg. First question, if you could have any superhero power, what would it be?
Is singing a Supergirl power?
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
I don't know if I can allow it. Well, actually,
All right. That's right.
well, first of all, I don't think I can allow it because it's not a.
It's not a power.
Yeah.
It's not
What
superhero.
what superhero has the power of singing?
I know. Okay, so I would say that I would just like to fly around and help people.
Okay. So
Right.
I'm actually going to throw in another question in between there, just because this is like one of our standard questions. If you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 things would you bring with you?
You know what? We ask that at the lake all the time. Like that's one of our standard go-to questions, especially like when we have new people at the lake. We always go around the table and just do all these icebreaker things, and it's really fun. And 2 truths and a lie. Do you guys play that one?
I know what it is, but I don't necessarily play it. No, because all my life is lies. So no, but what's your answer?
I would say, this is what I've said before, when we play this at the lake, I'd bring my son because he can get us out of there. He is literally Daniel Boone.
He's MacGyver. He's MacGyver.
He's
Yeah.
MacGyver, and he'll figure out a way to get him off that island.
We'll be flying out of there. I mean, he will flying, boating. I don't know. So the 3 things that I would bring if I strand on an island, I'd bring a boat, I would bring my son, and I would bring, let's see, probably water, because I don't think I'd need food because we wouldn't be there that long.
Okay. Hirschberg, I'll let you answer that question.
3 things stranded on an island.
Yep.
I don't know. I've never thought about that. You clearly have an answer.
Again, this is one of those questions that Mueller and I ask all the time. And it wasn't until the last time when we decided that we were going to actually interview each other that I thought about an answer. And now I can't remember what I even thought the answer that I would bring, but I know certain things that I would not bring.
What would you not bring?
Most people say a cell phone.
But you would run out of battery.
Exactly. That's one of the first things I say. That's not even a good answer.
No, that's not. that's not a good answer.
Yeah, well, you can't critique somebody else's answer if you don't have one. So let's go.
Yeah, I don't, and I've never thought about this, but I'm stranded on an island, so um, I'm probably bringing um, like a knife, something like sharp to cut with. I'm probably bringing a tent because I'll want to have like a tent. And the third thing is um I'm I'm bringing a photo album of my family to motivate me to get my butt off that island.
And honestly, again, your wife and your kids are not seeing this. So no.
No, but
I
I
know.
didn't say it for them. That's just genuine. I guess that's genuinely who I am. So I don't know.
So, and I know one of my answers was, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and I couldn't remember if Mueller would allow it, but it literally would be a boat. And Kathryn, you said a boat, but mine's more like a yacht. And on that yacht, I've got like a sag phone, I've got like fishing poles, I've got like
Oh,
it is the
you're much
yacht of
better.
all yachts that I don't even have to worry about it. That I really don't even need two other things because my yacht would have almost like a cruise line ship. If if you can think about it, it's probably there. So I kind of cheated on the question because I really had thought about it. Like I was like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. And then that was the one question that I thought about like over and over and over what I would bring. But I'd also heard so many bad answers beforehand that I already had ruled out what I would not bring.
My answer a bad one because I was just in Naked and Afraidville is where I was. That show is great. Y'all ever watched Naked and Afraid?
Watch Naked and Afraid, and you're bringing a knife, okay, and a tent. But I'm assuming if you're bringing a knife, you could make your own tent because there should be enough.
You haven't hung around with me that much to know that I can't make anything with
Yeah,
my
but you just wasted one thing because the knife, I suppose, would help you make your tent.
I
But
gotta like tie stuff.
yeah, but Kathryn's answer, that's one of the best ones I've heard. Her son,
I like it.
a
Yeah.
boat, and what was the third one?
She had me at her son, which was
Yeah,
because
she said MacGyver, a boat, and something else. And at that point, she was
She had the boat and then
water, and she said water because she wasn't going to be there
like,
very long.
I don't need food because I'm not gonna be here. I got MacGyver with me.
But I don't think you would need water if you had MacGyver because you could make water already. So I think you should be all right. Now, here's the last question for you. If you could be any superhero, who would it be?
Didn't you just ask that?
No, I said any superhero power.
Oh,
Be different.
okay. Let's see. Superhero, that would be like Batman.
Is Batman a superhero?
According to DC, is yes.
Okay.
Because what's his superpower?
He's a superhero. He was a League of Justice, right? Or Justice League.
Absolutely. But
So,
but what was his, other than being rich,
I was going to say a rich.
What was his superpower? I'm sorry, that was off topic.
He was a rich crime fighter, but he was a superhero.
I'm a Batman fan. I'm just asking. But
DC
yes,
Comics considers him a superhero.
So like Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, the Incredible Hulk, Captain Marvel, Superwoman, like the Black Panther. Like these are all superheroes.
Why does it gotta be black?
Flash, Aquaman.
I would say Superman or woman. Fly around and help people.
See, I thought you would have gone with Captain Marvel, but Superman or I originally thought you would say, because you said you wanted to fly around and help people.
Yeah.
I would have said Superman or Superwoman, but then when Hirschberg threw out there Captain Marvel, I thought you would have picked Captain Marvel because she might be the badass of all badasses.
Oh,
I
love Captain Marvel.
She's new. She's on the newer side, Kiilu.
She's not on the newer side.
In mainstream, she is in mainstream. People didn't know about Captain Marvel.
Okay, so if I asked you, who was the first Avenger? Who would you say?
You want me to answer that?
Sure. Someone throw it
No,
out.
ask Kathryn.
Kathryn, if I asked you who was the first Avenger, who would you say?
I have no clue. I don't even know what an Avenger is.
Oh my gosh.
There you go, Kiilu.
Oh my gosh, Kathryn. Ooh. Ooh. Don't let my kids hear that. Hirschberg, who would you say?
I mean, according to Marvel, Captain America was the first Avenger.
No, but he would be the oldest Avenger, but he's not the first Avenger.
They literally named the movie the first Avenger. Are you
Okay.
asking who the oldest is?
No, I asked who's the first Avenger, but that's where Marvel's wrong, because when did the Avenger Initiative start?
So are you gonna tell me that that Tony Stark's father was the first Avenger?
No, I'm going to tell you it's Captain Marvel, because
Captain Marvel.
after remember who
She was
started?
old. She existed. I got
But
it.
no, who started the Avengers?
Yeah, because if you do the movies and you did them not in release order, but you did it in time chronological order, the first one would be Captain Marvel.
Correct, because the Avenger Initiative was started by Nick Fury. Nick Fury wasn't around when.
I thought you were going to go with Nick Fury as the
No,
as your answer.
he started the Avenger Initiative, and he started it based off of, because even at the end of Captain Marvel, he put a file together and said Avenger Initiative.
Can I tell you something? I just realized something. These last 5 minutes, guaranteed, there will not be a part two because Kathryn's going to decline it, coming back for a part two.
I would love to come back to a part two.
All right, so we'll look at it and we'll get our calendar straight, and we will absolutely do a part two, because this has been awesome. These are one of those ones where it's literally been an hour and a half and it's just flown by.
I know, so fun. David, I'm so glad you came on to be the interviewer.
I feel really blessed. Thank you, Kiilu, for asking me to fill in. Kathryn, out of all seriousness, I've heard such wonderful things about you before today, not just from Kiilu, but from others. And you lived up to every word of it. So it was really an honor to be on here with you.
Oh, thank you so
Will
much.
you be in Chicago in November?
I will.
All right. Well, I'm looking
Together
forward.
for sure.
What'd you say?
Let's get together for sure. Are you guys bringing wives?
My wife came last year, but not this year. We've got some conflicts.
That's silly talk, Kathryn, if you're asking me if I'm bringing my wife, because I think that's the only reason people actually like me is because of Tara. So
I knew Tara was coming. I wasn't sure about David's wife. Yeah. Well, let's get together in Chicago also. So we'll try and have a drinks and diversity happy hour. Although it's kind of hard because there's so many things and everybody's being pulled in so many different directions.
Absolutely. But we will absolutely have to do this again. And, quite honestly, we can do it again later on and we can run it for later, but we've got to have a part two because there's so many more questions. Kathryn, as much as I know you, there's so many things I want to ask you because you're such an awesome person.
Oh, you're so nice. Oh, I had such a hard day and this feels so good to end it with all these compliments.
Well, they're not compliments. That's just what it is. But
thank you so much. You guys are great. And great to meet you, Ed. And that is so exciting that you're Peter's partner.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's very good. And I'll tell him that you say hello. So he doesn't even know that I was doing this because I'm like last second, day, fill in. So I'll definitely.
Well, it wasn't last. I basically sent you something like 2 days ago and said,
yes.
What are you doing? And you were like, whatever Kiilu Davis says I'm doing. I was like, well, this is what we're doing.
I asked him which number was I on his Rolodex before he got someone to accept. I figure I was like somewhere between 10 and 15. So of people that he called.
Have you been interviewed?
What do you say?
you been interviewed?
No.
Okay, so how about if I sit in as the fill-in interviewer and then you be the interviewee?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay. That is our next one.
Okay.
We'll set that up. So then we can do it. Let's do something in the next couple weeks because we're late now because it's usually due well before this. So let's do it where then we can flip it around. And then Kathryn, you can be the fill-in for Mueller, and then Hirschberg, you can be the interviewee.
Oh no.
Yeah, so let's coordinate it. Let's coordinate it.
I will love that. I'll think of my questions. Yeah, and then you can say Fireside Chat with David Hirschberg.
That's right. I like it. All right, everybody.
All right.
Thank
And
you so
okay.
much for doing this.
Appreciate it.
And
Thank
it
you.
has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.